We have to stop spending our most valuable resource, our attention, and giving it to other people and getting very little back in return. It's time to take more control of it, be more mindful of our investments so that we get to reap the rewards of our attention, our focus, and create lasting and meaningful work and accomplish our goals, accomplish our aspirations and the things that we're ultimately trying to achieve. Have you ever found yourself struggling to pay attention? That no matter how hard you try, you can't rein your brain in to make it focus on the task at hand, that you're trying to accomplish something but you just can't seem to sit still long enough to get it done? In today's video, we're going to talk about some tips and techniques that will allow you to preserve your attention, focus better, and start accomplishing the goals you're trying to accomplish in today's informational, chaotic world. Welcome back to Bookstack. I'm Joshua Hanson. On this channel, we focus on bringing order to our busy lives and increasing our capabilities so we can chase our dreams and aspirations. On a recent video, I talked about the importance of deep work and how key a skill it is if we're looking to achieve our most aspirational goals. Now, focus and attention is a pivotal aspect of deep work. And if we're not able to pay attention and control our focus, then we're not going to be able to really dive deep in. We're not going to be able to find that flow state that'll allow us to work at a higher level and continue to increase our skill and capabilities. Let's talk about some important key aspects of attention. In his book, The Organized Mind, neuroscientist and psychologist David Levitin talks about one of the most important aspects to understand about attention is that it is a limited resource. As we go about our day, different things are going to capture our attention, whether it be the news, whether it be the radio, music, TV, a podcast, a book. It's all going to begin consuming our attention from the beginning of the day on. And as we get later and later in the day, we're going to find our attentional resources have been depleted quite dramatically. All activities are consuming our attention. Most of them are consuming our attention at the same rate, but not everything that we pay attention to is giving us a return on that investment. What we need to focus on is increasing our attentional ROI so that the things that we're investing our attention in are providing us some value back. In this way, I like to think of attention as currency. Think of each unit of attention as $1, and we're spending our dollars, and we could take that $1 and we can buy many different things with it. We could buy a candy bar, we can buy a little bit of gas, we could buy a pencil, a pen, we could buy, or we could put it into the stock market. We could buy the S&P 500, or we could buy something which is a long-term investment. So as you can see, each thing costs $1, but not everything has the same capability for return over time. Now, I'm not trying to say we only pay attention to work or we only do those things which are going to be producing content. No, sometimes the highest and best use of our attention is rest and relaxation. Sometimes it is watching that funny video or watching that movie. Sometimes that is the best thing we can do that's going to give us the highest return on that investment. So I don't want to put it out there, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? Yeah, we get that. And so sometimes we do need that time. We need the time to relax. We need the time to refresh. We need time for inspiration and exhalation. But I find myself more oftentimes leaning towards or reaching for rest and relaxation and never really using my attention in a strategic effect with a focus on long-term returns. And that's something I'm starting to focus on now. For instance, writing these videos, scripting these videos out, that's all something which is consuming my attention that I'm hoping does bring a longer term return. What I've been trying to do lately is get on the other side of the consumption spectrum, right? So there's on one side we're consuming content, on the other side we are producing content. And I've spent so much time down here consuming content that I'm trying to bring myself over where I'm producing content as well as consuming, right? But I have to be able to focus my attention in order to be able to do that. All right, so how do we conserve our attention? First, we need to be able to set our priorities. At the beginning of the day, we need to know what we're trying to accomplish that day and what is going to require us to pay attention and to be able to control our focus long enough to accomplish them. If we know we have a big project, where we have a big investment to make that day of intention and focus, it'd be best to put that at the beginning of the day if possible. The earlier we spend our attention, the more of the resource we have at that time. So that would kind of be my tip number one. Push the things which require the greatest amount of attentional and focus investment to the beginning of the day. Second, again, having that list of things you know you want to make the investment in If you find it has to come later in the day, your focus at the beginning of the day or the start of the day until that time comes is to conserve your attention as much as possible. Now, this might mean less time on TikTok, less time on YouTube. Maybe you skip watching, that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode over lunch. You need to be spending that attention with an eye to the thing you have to accomplish towards the end of the day. I work a full-time job. I have 3 kids. There's a lot that's consuming my attention. So I find during the day, I try my best to conserve my attention as much as possible so that at the end of the day, I can accomplish and work on my own projects and the things I'm looking forward to. My writing, my reading, my recording content, my editing, all of those things. If I know I have to do that towards the end of the day, then I need to make sure that during the day, I'm not spending all of my attention on low value, low return items. This brings me to my third point of, and I've kind of alluded to it in the other two, is staying off social media. Staying off high attention, low return items. When I'm scrolling through Facebook or I'm scrolling through TikTok and I'm scrolling through Twitter, basically I call it doom scrolling. I'm not getting a lot out of it. It's really just meant to be a distraction. It's really meant to be some sort of outlet. But I find I'm even doing it even though I'm not really even enjoying it that much. I'm not really getting the rest, the relaxation that I'm looking for. It's also spending my attention so that when it comes time to do the thing I really want to do, I don't have motivation. My attention has been spent. I don't have the focus. So I've really been drawing back and pulling back from those websites in order to conserve my attention to be on the producing side. Rather than spending most of my time consuming the content other people have produced, I'm trying to produce my own content. I also find that the more time I spend on social media when I do go to produce content or do whatever the work is that you're trying to do, whether it be writing or art or spending time with your family, which I also do, but whatever it is, I find that the less time I spend on social media, or I should say the more time I spend on social media, the less I'm able to focus in that time. My brain is constantly trying to reach and search and say, hey, I wonder what's happening on Facebook. Hey, I wonder if a person responded to that post I made. I wonder if this person retweeted it. I find that I'm in a distracted mode even if I still have attentional resources. I have a much harder time controlling that attentional resources when I've been distracted all day. But I find the whole day when I've had like this peaceful time when I've been able to kind of just sit with my thoughts, I've been able to just kind of breathe and be present. When it comes time to get into that attentional focused state, that flow state of work, I'm able to just kind of snap into it. I'm able to just kind of switch that switch on. It's much easier to just get into that state when all day I've been controlling my attention, I've been controlling my focus all day. I've been saying no to the distractions, yes to the focus. I've been doing that all day. When it comes time to flip that switch on and go hard, I can do that in a much easier way. I haven't been giving into those distractions all day. I find this quote by Srinivas Rao in the book An Audience of One incredibly helpful on this point. He says, "What we do before we do creative work has just as much of an impact as how we work. When we've spent hours letting our attention drift from one external stimulus to another, we'll have a much more challenging time managing our attention when we want to work. This is why we must be able to resist our temptation to give in to distractions even when we are not doing creative work." Really, it comes down to ensuring that we're using our attentional and focus resources in a way that will yield the highest long-term reward, whether that be times of rest, whether that be times of work, but making sure that we're not giving in to distractions so much that when it comes time to focus, we're not able to do that. If we're going to create deep, meaningful, lasting work of lasting value, it's going to take managing our resources in a much more meaningful way. We have to stop spending our most valuable resource, our attention, and giving it to other people and getting very little back in return. It's time to take more control of it, be more mindful of our investments so that we get to reap the rewards of our attention, our focus, and create lasting and meaningful work and accomplish our goals, accomplish our aspirations and the things that we're ultimately trying to achieve. I hope you found today's video helpful and inspiring and motivating. I would love to hear about the deep work that you're trying to achieve out there and how you have found ways to conserve your attention, to conserve your focus, and get into that deep flow state. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you found this helpful, if you think it would help other people, please share that. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much.